Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Recap Show. We talk football all the time. I'm your host Brian, and we are 4 weeks into the regular season, and it's been a little bit of a roller coaster of 1A. We got a handful of 2-2. We got let's take a quick look at the standings before I start just spitting out my ass. We got 2 4-0s. We got one lone man sitting at 0-4, 2 men sitting at 3-3, and 4 1-3. Guys. All right. It's a good little start to the season, I would say. A little bit of parity. Unfortunate for Stalno, he's 0-4. Then you got Mr. Jones, Commish, and Mr. Safe Space Joe, 2 guys sitting at 4-0. 2 guys who are no strangers to regular season success. 2 guys who we've seen have continued regular season success. It's a story we know all too well. And let's see if someone can knock them off their perch. Before we get a little further into it, guys, I'd like to just put something out there. Last night I was crying. When was the last time you guys had a good cry? The reason that I was crying, Katie had to come check on me, make sure I was okay. And this is why. Crying of laughter, that is, of course, guys. This guy with his streams, his golf, his PGA, Tony Murd, the douchey Dutchman himself. I heard the stream was cheese balls. I never thought in a million years this guy was gonna get down in push-up position and start eating cheese balls like a fucking bird. I could not be contained. It was amazing. And with that, let's go to the long 20. Another thing I should be happy about, the long 20. Derrick Henry, 87-yard touchdown. I got to see it right to left. Ian got to see it left to right. Eric Olson got to see it right at him. Eric was sitting in that corner, the sideline that Derrick was running right down, right at him, 87 yards. And that will be paid from Kevin Lamb, the low man on the week, 61 points. Kevin, please send $20 at your leisure. And with that, let's get into some matchups. Oh yeah, this whole Yankee ticket thing. Hopefully get one of you guys go. I don't know how the hell my dad got, but why he really actually bought these, how he ended up with them. He says he spent $250 each. I don't know if he got fucking ripped off. Is that how much they're fucking going for? So if one of you guys want them, let me know. Make an offer. With that, the matchups, and it's the Tortugas versus the Hard Money Maseratis. 2 guys who made a trade earlier in the season. 2 guys who have some good fantasy football history. I've taken John 5 out of 6 years. I'm 5-1 against him, but also John's a super fan of the show, and I'm afraid I might be losing him. I might be losing my super fan after he takes a 50-point loss. I sent some salt, a little bit of salt at a John, and he texted me one thing. There's no bad blood though, boys. Don't worry. He texted me one thing though. One of the texts over the weekend though was something along the lines of like, our trade set a precedent or something like that, of other people to take advantage of him or something. I don't know what he's. John, don't blame me. All right. I just wanted Derrick Henry, and you proposed it. From what I'm hearing, I think you're proposing a lot of these trades. But you know what? John Rast is fearless. He's just a guy who likes to have fun. You know what I mean? He just goes for it. Whether that works out, time will tell. I haven't even said a word about our matchup, John, but I just sometimes I'm like, you need to calm down, but other times I'm just like, let John be John, and maybe his team will bounce back, and 96, like, he wasn't the low man on the week by any means, but 96 is very good. Anthony Richardson didn't go down with a hip injury. I don't think that's that serious. Chuba was your lone highlight. Jameson Williams had that one long touchdown, and then Marvin Harrison had a decent little week at 15.5. 146 for the Tortugas, though, was just quite simply too much. That must have been so painful of all weeks for Derrick Henry to have his best week. Decides to drop 35.9 on the man who traded him after week 1, Amon-Ra, 20.78. That was another thing. I think John's hasty reaction to my Instagram was just a little bit of the salt. But we were actually saying the exact same thing, which was funny. We texted about it. We had a good laugh. But John, I hope you still have optimism about your trades. I hope you don't think you did something bad. I just understand that you You love to put yourself in these positions. You love to get after it, and we're all here for it. With this one, though, I kind of feel like it's like at a wedding or something, and John's dancing out on the dance floor, and his hands are tied, but he tied them. So, like, I've never seen that before, but that's what I picture when I just see this whole thing. And with that, I'm gonna stop talking because I'm fucking rambling about my own matchup where I won by 50 points. Felt good. Tortuga's turning around a little bit, turning a corner. Next one, though, the Great Jones versus the Phoenix Fire. Ian Jones. The Great Jones are rolling. Ian Jones was getting all pissy at the bar on Sunday when Lynch's guys were doing well. We saw back-to-back highlights. We were at the Charles, which is now called the Perch. Remember, the Charles was the one we sat upstairs in the booth. It's now called the Perch. And we saw, what was it, back-to-back? We saw, I think it might have been a Kyron Williams touchdown followed by a Mike Evans touchdown, or maybe it was a Jonathan Taylor followed by Mike Evans, but it was like back-to-back, and Ian was getting upset. And it didn't matter. Those were some of the early highlights from Lynch's team. He's got the two running backs. Jonathan Taylor now a little bit hurt. Might not see that guy for like a fortnight. And he's still got Kyron cooking. Mike Evans is great. Rashee Rice, tough blow. I still can't believe they haven't announced that it's a torn ACL and he's done for the season. So if you have like a little bit of optimism in you, Matt, I use it on Rashee Rice because that guy needs it. He posted some cryptic thing about prayers up or something. I don't know exactly what it was. Lynch still just cooking with Baker, 29 on his bench. Baker's like QB3 right now. It's ridiculous. Chase Brown, 23 points. I think we saw a Chase Brown touchdown too, but it didn't matter. Ian was just upset because he wanted it to be Zach Moss. But nonetheless, 127. Ian Jones, Lamar Jackson. Lamar, 23 points. Good stuff. Blowing out the Bills, guys. Remember last time Ian Jones had Lamar Jackson and his team was cooking? How did that end? How did it end? With the championship for the commish. So that guy would love to repeat that in 2024. Good win, Ian, 127-98. Lynch falls to 1-3. Ian still cruising at the top, 4-0. Whoa. The next matchup, Yak United versus the Father Figures.
Dud. You moron. You drafted like shit. You managed like shit. Dud.
That would be for you, Kevin Lamb, not you, Christian. Christian, you put up 123 points. You were more than double Kevin's point total. And, Kevin, 61 points, buddy. Gosh. I know, like, so Josh Allen, Jamar Chase, obviously are his best players. Like, DJ Moore's fine. Devin Atchan has been, like, his workhorse. And Devin Atchan only putting up 6 points against the Tennessee Titans is brutal. Huntley could not get it going. I don't even know. Was that game in Florida? Was that game in Nashville? Did it fucking matter, dude? I think it was in Florida. But Huntley didn't look great. I turned that game off before I saw too much of it. To be honest, I switched to the other one. But 61, dude. I have nothing more to say about how much of a dud that is. Christian, Deontay Johnson, 21 points, picking up a Q, though. DeAndre Swift, 29.5. Swift. Wow. James Cook wasn't the bell cow Christian needed, but DeAndre Swift picked up the slack. Geno Smith seems solid. Brandon Ayuk hasn't quite gotten it going yet. But Christian puts up 123 nonetheless. Still got a couple assets on his bench. I think he's got to be happier with Pittman having the ball thrown from Joe Flacco last week. But I think Richardson's injury might not be that serious. Kevin Lamb, I saw he dropped Samaje Perine, so he's going all in on Kareem Hunt. And Kareem Hunt had a decent little, he had like 10 or 12 carries, I think, something, right? So, Kevin's trying to get rid of that blank space in his roster. And 61, though, Kev. Pay me. Next matchup, Douchey Dutchman, 130 points. 130 points for the guy who got voted worst team on Safe Space last week. That was shocking. I did not vote for the Douchey Dutchman worst team last week. But 130 points to Charlie's 97, the DC Darkness Retreat. We'll talk about who traded Charlie and Johnny. We'll talk about that a little bit at the end. Good little stuff. I think it was a mutually beneficial one for, I think it was a needed one, and I think they actually helped each other out. But we'll circle back. 130 for the Dutchman. The Dutchman, 24 points from Jaden Daniels. Loves that guy. He's got his Vikings combined for like 38, 39 points. Sam Laporta put him 9.3. coming alive a little bit. One of the first tight ends kind of peeking his head out a little bit. Travis Kelce on the other side, 15.9. He's peeking. Good to see some tight end action going. This year has been so horrific for tight ends. Mark Andrews still hasn't. He's stuck in his gopher hole. I don't know when he's going to come out, but gosh, I hope he has at least 1 or 2 good games and one of you wants him. This matchup. 24 for Mason. Jordan Mason's been good, huh? Jordan Mason's been real good for Charlie. If that guy just keeps getting the starting role, he'll continue to do well. Tony Ladd-McConkey came alive. Terry McLaurin. Tony's got to be feeling pretty good. Tony's like the notorious 130 guy. Do you remember that year when he scored like 130 points the first like 9 weeks or something insane? And he gets back to that. He's sitting in 6th place. Charlie down in 13th. We had, for the second time this season, team number 13 trade with team number 14. That was the situation when Rast and I traded, and that's the situation with Charlie and Johnny. So what do you guys like to call it? Littles helping littles? Yeah. It's also just us not giving the title to the best teams, trying to mix it up amongst ourselves. 117 to 73 is the next matchup, though. Johnny.
Dud. You moron. You drafted
Raiders wide receiver Davante Adams is not expected to play Sunday. Hell yeah. That's a good. I play Charlie. Sedano, yeah, I'm going to go 73 as a dud. I think 75 is the line, man. 73 is pretty miserable. 117 for Joe is pretty good, and Joe pointed it out himself, or maybe it was a tweet, I don't remember. But Joe's definitely had some fortunate points against, but nonetheless, not to take anything away, Joe has a pretty damn good team. But Johnny guys they just don't want to come together. He didn't get much out of his Eagles. Those are his 2 workhorses. Cooper's low game. Davante Adams didn't play. As we just said, I don't think that doesn't sound like Davante Adams is going to play week 5 unless he's traded, which would be insane. Imagine if he goes to the Jets, which would just be sick from the Jets' perspective. And then Charlie has Davante and Garrett Wilson. I would bet Charlie starts Aaron Rodgers at that point and just leaves Brock in the dust and just goes all in. Would be madman material, but like those are 2 studs. So what are you going to do? Johnny, I don't really have much more to say about your 73 points. Joe, 4-0, 2nd place. Keep it going. Next one, the high score of the week, Mr. Michael Weston, 156. A guy who fleeced the shit out of John Rast. Getting an enchanted 156 to 104 win. 52 points over the Young Esquires. This is a little geographical battle. These are 2 guys up in the New York region. See each other fair amounts. The Robinsons, Weston gets 30 out of. Nico Collins is a beast. Absolute beast. That guy might end up being the pick of the draft. That guy might end up being wide receiver 1. He is on record-breaking pace right now. I saw something today. He will eclipse over 2,000 yards if he keeps up this pace, which is ridiculous. Mike's got to be thrilled. Chris Olave thrown in 16.7 points. And I feel like Weston has Davante Smith. He's waiting on Davante Smith to come back. So Weston's got to just take this team, the robbery he committed, get his getaway car, and get the fuck away from everything and just keep crushing people. 104 Sklar. I'll talk about you a little bit. Sklar was a guy who I feel like is like a trade away from just really taking his team to the next level because he's got good pieces. He's got Kyler Murray, he's got Breece Hall, he's got Drake London, he's got Jalen Reed who just continues to perform. And then he's sitting on Jonathan Brooks, Braylon Allen. Something's there. Something's going to happen. But we haven't seen the firepower out of the Young Esquires quite yet. Hopefully he can turn it around. He's sitting at 1-3. Last matchup of the week. I've been rambling. This one came down to Monday night. The only one that really came down to Monday night. The Crips take down the Latin Mooks by just over 4 points. 4.16 it looks like. And I got to say, I'm pretty happy Eric beat Ortiz. On a personal level, I was at the golf simulator last night with Ortiz, and we were trying to be quick, like, oh guys, we only have a couple minutes, let's like finish the last few holes. So he tees off, he's holding his club like this, and then he just like lets it go, and the pendulum swings as I'm walking it back up behind him, drills me in the shin with his driver. Fucking hurts. Huge bruise. Fun times. So yeah, I'm glad the Crips took you down because now I'm a fucking Crip. And I mean, you had CeeDee Lamb do great on that Thursday night game. He had a nice touchdown. You were probably feeling pretty good. You got out to like a nice 40 points. I wouldn't say James, the team, did that. I mean, 115 is nothing to scoff at. Didn't get a ton out of the kicker defense. I mean, neither really did Eric. But just wasn't quite enough this time. James wasn't quite enough. James at 2-2. Eric at 3-1. That's the matchups. I was gonna do this new thing called Random Story of the Week. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna cut it here. I hope you guys have a wonderful Wednesday evening. Good luck this week. Have fun this weekend, and I hope everyone is well. Thank you. Yeah, I said I was gonna talk about the trade, and I just completely fucking forgot. I also forgot about the all-time records. Do you guys care about the all-time records? I'm 5-1 against Rast, Ian 6-4 against Lynch in the Smoothie King Bowl. I meant to say that. Christian 6-3 against Kevin Lamb. Tony 6-4 against Charlie. Tony 6 straight after Charlie opened up 4-0 against you. So Charlie hasn't beaten you in years. Joe 5-4 over Johnny. That one was 4-4. Mike bringing it back 4-4 against Spencer, and then last one Ian 5-4. Not Ian. Eric. In the O Bowl, I like to call it the O Bowl, Ortiz Olson, 5-4, broke a streak of losses, apparently. So that's pretty cool. But once again, seriously, does anyone care about this historical thing? Because I forget to do it almost every video, and it would just save me time. So just curious. About the trade, though. Last little tidbit. P.S. I like it. I don't know. I like it. I think Charlie gets Charlie wanted to upgrade at receiver. Charlie's going to end up with Garrett Wilson, Puka, and Davante Adams all healthy. Hawkinson's starting to practice. Charlie loves a good hold. Honestly, Kevin Lamb started floating around Nick Chubb, and I was like, doesn't Charlie have Nick Chubb? Because like I always just think those guys who are like out for an extended period of time or whatever, or suspended or this or that or whatever, Charlie just loves them. So it's no surprise he gets Hawkinson. Sedano, other side, just gets some good pieces, some good players, fill in his lineup. He had a lot of buys. He doesn't want to be 0-5. It sucks to have to trade for 1 week, but I don't think it was a trade for 1 week per se, but it's one that'll help him this week when he's got his Eagles on bye, so he still needs a quarterback. But I'm going to say Sedano wins. Hot take. But once again, a good one. That's it. And bye.